What's up, guys? First video. I guess I'm going to be talking a little bit about myself and feelings about the job market and the future of basically anyone under 30 or under 40 right now. So, jobs are kind of cooked. I think I graduated right on the precipice of when it became kind of like unviable. So I graduated in 2017. I got my first job at Microsoft as a software engineer working on Xbox Live services. And that was pretty cool. It's like the social network of Xbox Live. It's like imagine Facebook, but on your Xbox. And that stuff was cool but after a while, I kind of just realized that I wasn't really doing anything complicated or sophisticated or that had any moat to me being there. And in the end, I feel like I was actually like proven correct recently. So recently, like all the Microsoft senior people, all the engineers have been getting this offer to buy them out for the rest of their retirement. And I'm thinking maybe this is to pay for AI, maybe for whatever other but they're totally sh- shifting their labor force. They're taking all the old like boomers out of Microsoft and I guess making it totally like Indian and H1B and just totally non-American. And if you actually do want to work there as an American, you basically have to take the same wages they offered in 2016, but now it's been eaten by inflation. So it's not really the same. It's just like they're pretending the same. They're just like pretending inflation doesn't happen and that they can like have all these skills for basically like paycheck to paycheck wages. It's crazy to me that like that's what this has become. But I guess now that if you can like find a country where you have like a whole bunch of like millions and hundreds of millions of people that are willing to do anything to crawl out of poverty, and you just take them and you have them compete with like your own local workforce, then you don't have to pay your local workforce a wage that keeps up with inflation. And honestly, that's kind of fucked. Everyone who has money in this country, it's like they've pulled up the ladders and it's like goodbye. And looking back at it historically, it's kind of always been the case. We used to have money that was backed by real gold, and now it's not even that. Like the money we have now, it's not even worth like what you can buy with it. It's like that's just like how crazy it is. Depends on how hooked up you are to like a market that is actually tracking inflation versus like something that's been propped up by the government. Because if you look at the gas prices right now, it's like what, $5. That shit, like if we weren't draining our national reserves, that would probably be like closer to 10. It's just like all these tops are being like pulled out to basically artificially like take away any kind of like ownership or like ability to even like do anything from anyone who doesn't already like have assets. And anyone who does is okay. So I live in Washington State, and the local government here is kind of doing like a little like revolution on the people, where okay, it started with the car tabs. So we originally, there's a referendum that was signed and it was voted for that there would be like $30 car tabs like all for Washington, and then Washington was like, no, actually we're going to cancel that and we're going to do our own thing. And so it's been escalating kind of since there, and they've been funding money to all these kind of like frivolous causes, just like all these like homeless shelters, and the buildings, like they buy them for multi-millions and then they get totally destroyed. And it's like all that tax experiment, it just like went to nothing. And it kind of seems like everyone's on their toes just waiting for something to happen, waiting for like something catastrophic to flip, because there's no way this spending situation is sustainable, because they're right now they're like trying to impose an income tax in Washington, and like the premise is that it would only affect the super wealthy. And one objection to that is like, okay, but like where are the jobs going to be if like everyone moves out of state? And then the second thing is like the state constitution actually says it's illegal, like it's not constitutional to have different tax rates for different like people, to my understanding. So my understanding is they're gonna backdoor like a court, like kind of like decision into it to make it so that everyone has to pay an income tax. And it's like, why would they why would they stay in the state if the reason, like, most of these people in the state are here because of an income tax? So like the only way the situation I see playing out is if like cools down in, like, I don't know, 30, 40 years, but I'm gonna be an old ass man, and that's not in my lifespan. It's just like everyone's coming in and taking more and more, and like it's gonna keep happening unless they stop importing people. Okay, so to give you some more context about myself, I will I thought that job at Microsoft was okay, but I had some like personal reasons. I had like a falling out with a coworker, along with just like kind of like this ambition to do something with machine learning. This was back before there was ChatGPT and like you just put your text and it gives you an answer kind of thing. This is just like more primitive kind of like wiring up like PyTorch models to generate faces, or you put in some text and it gives you the image. And this is the kind of stuff I like worked on early on. And I eventually made my way to Reality Labs. I got hired for contract there, and I had a really nice team. I had a couple of really awesome managers, and everyone, it was like probably the best job I've ever had. Just like food every day, socializing. It's like working on something meaningful, paying a good wage. Like there's really nothing I could ask more than that. And it was the saddest thing when my contract was not renewed. I mean, I still keep in touch with the people, but it's like, it sucks that it can't be a more permanent thing. I got hired for a second role at Meta. All right, so it's not just a fluke. The second time was the manager was this kind of like little like Bangladeshi dude. He he the weird thing is he never like took the time to like personally like get to know or like even eat lunch. Even though the cafeteria was upstairs and free every day, he would still like take lunch like by himself and like totally like not react. And so this was like red flag number one. Red flag number two is he like second week after I'm not able to get something working on like the MacBook that was like given to me by default. It was some program, it was meant for flashing firmware onto like embedded like Arduino type devices, but for like machine learning. So I didn't have the Apple didn't have the right firmware. It was meant for a Linux laptop, and so I got a Linux laptop by the end of week 2. But by then I got called into my manager's office. I'd done all the tutorials he'd asked up until the flashing part, and I wasn't able to do it because I had the wrong. But then I got the right PC and it worked. And and like the day after, like 2 weeks in, he's pulling me into an office, telling me how my performance is bad, how he thinks I don't know how to do the job, and how I'm gonna be put on a 2 week performance plan. This is like 2 weeks in from like a guy who got into the U.S. through like studying ML, and like really his PhD wasn't even anything like super advanced. It was just poking holes in models to make them smaller and more performant. And how do you poke holes in them in a way that like I went and looked up his background to know what he was on about, and he kind of gave me this like giant laundry list of things to do like after that pip. I think it was kind of to intimidate me into like either quitting or like admitting that I can't do it. But the thing is, I actually like took a solid effort, and so he wanted me to basically take some like segmentation model, which makes it draws like a circle around like a category. So instead of bounding box, it like draws a box around the person or a cat or a car or whatever. It literally draws the pixel mask, and so that's pretty cool. It's advanced. And so I reached out to the guy who was like kind of the head owner of this like model, and he kind of helps me out, gets me started, shows me some training runs to kind of like, okay, so FB Learner is this like online job running platform at Meta where they like run all their like ML jobs on this like cloud platform. Think of it just like an internal Azure or like an AWS kind of thing where it's specifically for like running online jobs. So I figured out this, like I got like a clone of the job and I got it running, and I did some more like research on like the second thing he wanted me to do was like basically like take out some internal transformer layers and replace them with convolutional layers, which is kind of like a more lightweight type of machine learning layer in the intent of making it smaller for like a cell phone. And I did that, and I kind of got like a crappy version working until I was digging deeper into the literature of this specific model and found out that they had actually done this already, and that this was already like part of the change. And I was like working on some old version of it, and so I brought this to him, and I, along with the training run, and like I sent it to him, and within an hour I get an email telling me to go home, to leave take all my things home, leave my work computer stuff at work. And when I get home, I get another email saying that I've been let go for performance reasons. And so that's really like what gets me, because like I did all the things that he wanted me to do. I played through his mind games, and he's like, it's still a situation of like foreigners coming here and elbowing people out of jobs that they fully have a right to, and it's kind of fucked. And the thing is, like, zooming out of the situation is nobody cares. I can tell the story to my mom, to my sister, to my friend, to my cat, to my dog, whatever, and like it's the same response. It's like, cool, sad story, bro, suck it up. And I get it, because like everyone's their own person. We're not living each other's journeys, but at some point we have to collectively like say, you know what, like we can't just have the government betraying us at every turn and fucking us over, and like there's no life here. So it's basically like on people right now to decide, am I gonna come out of my copes and do something? Or and it's crazy because it's like I can't do anything, so I'm kind of speaking from a position of hypocrisy here, because like I don't know, I could run for like the local whatever, like city council position or whatever's coming up in the county and stuff, but it's like, what would I change, you know? Because all the real stuff is happening at the federal level. It's just kind of like you have these like state level actors, and everyone who has a high enough position of power is just like tied up with some crazy interest groups, just like sucking up money. And, and I hate to say it, but like I think we've run out of soft options. I don't like there needs to actually be some sort of like serious violence that like reckons with this. Otherwise, we're just going to be living in 1984 and like 10 years. We're going to be living in like the literal matrix, like not on our phones, not just like we're going to be living in fucking pods. We're going to be either that or like dead on the street. And it's like, what do we even like exist for, you know? Anyway, give me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think could be done. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Peace.